changed from Hillary Clinton being the victim in New Hampshire to suddenly Barack Obama / Martin Luther King being the victim?
Well, this is what I have been saying I think is difficult about Barack Obama as an opponent. I just think that everything you say, every potential attack or differentiation that you try and strike between yourself and that candidate has to be very carefully worded.
Well, the problem is you've got African Americans upset at the Clintons right now in large numbers, op-ed columnists, as they move towards South Carolina.
As they move towards South Carolina.
An incredibly important state that has 47% of its voters on the Democratic side being African Americans.
Yeah, and I think they're watching and listening and taking a look very closely at exactly what's going on here, which is strange because the Clintons are popular among the Americans, especially Bill Clinton.
Yeah, well, getting less popular by the day. And you know, she is getting attacked right now by New York Times op-ed columnist, by Jim Clyburn, one of the most powerful African Americans, not only in South Carolina, but in all of Congress, by all of these third parties. And the biggest rub is the fairy tale comment that it's all just a fairy tale. Plus, also, when she said, well, Martin Luther King's speech was great, but he would have never gotten civil rights passed without Lyndon Johnson being president.
Yeah, I mean, and these are, I mean, I guess it depends on who you are and how you take the comments, but these are the kinds of comments that are going to be dicey down the road. And I mean, her intentions may have been different, but they're watching. And why are they watching? Because the other candidate is an African American, and they don't want to see him being attacked inappropriately.
Well, probably paying Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton money just to stay inside their homes and say absolutely nothing, because this is a very dicey situation. A black American or a female American being president, it's actually causing a lot of problems. Gender wars in New Hampshire and race wars moving forward.
It's interesting. I don't know if it's fair.
And the bottom line is, regardless of whether the Clintons have been unfairly attacked or not, what's happened is that sympathy vote that she got, and sort of the good feelings that she got in New Hampshire, appears to be wiped away by these race battles, which I'm sure it is so interesting to see the Clintons actually dogged by the same African American community that they supported so much, and the criticisms are coming from the New York Times op-ed pages, Bob Herbert. They're coming from, my gosh, Jim Clyburn, the people that have been their steadfast allies in the past. But apparently, Hillary Clinton has said a few things that could really cost her in South Carolina. But this could not come at a worse time for the Clintons if it cuts into African-American support, because in South Carolina, that's 47% of the vote. It was a fascinating moment yesterday on Meet the Press. You're a leader extraordinaire. You know what it takes to win. Did Hillary Clinton answer that question correctly, the way she should have answered it?
Joe, the biggest thing a leader has is authenticity. And there she lost a moment when she could have said, he got it right this time. There are a lot of votes, there are a lot of decisions. I got it wrong this time. She could have captured America, I think. Now, politics is different. They lie all day, so you don't know when they ever tell the truth.
But would it be too late, though? I mean, she should have maybe done this a long time ago.
And had no idea how correct that guy was on that call.
He was dead on, wasn't he?
Amazing.
2002, you talk about foresight. Doesn't it help when you screw up to just say, hey, I messed up?
Well,
because you would say things like, you know, Tim, I understand you're twisting this question, or you're not showing enough. You're not giving it the full.
She asked for context on several occasions. This debate over Hillary Clinton's comments about Martin Luther King and LBJ spilled over on the campaign trail yesterday.
Whatever.
Cool.
Well, you know, I mean, this is getting a little ugly.
In a little bit.
I've got news to cover, though, so let's take a look at some of the other big stories we're following this morning. Look, I think Barack Obama has done so well keeping race out of this, transcending the whole issue and moving beyond and proving to people that there's something to him that has nothing to do with race, and this just dirties it up.
It does. Is this a deliberate attempt to sully Barack Obama's name?
Did Hillary deliberately charge the Obama campaign with doing this and, in effect, raising the race issue, which puts it back into the headlines. And what she seems to me to be doing is two things here.
Here we go again.
Of Hillary Clinton yesterday after she was talking about race for an hour on Meet the Press. The Clintons need to be careful.
The dicey one. That really is for everybody involved with the debate. Well, we'll see what happens, because I think you're right. It's dicey for all players.
This is turning into a nasty little race war, isn't it?
Well, they're not the Clinton campaign isn't just playing with fire. They're playing with plutonium.
Just how much damage is that causing right now, Emily, in the African-American community?
It's really knocked her off her message. She had a stimulus package out this week, very detailed, very policy-oriented, and all she's been doing for the last few days is talking about Barack Obama.
And don't forget, tomorrow night, this is going to be big.
It's going to be good.
NBC's
I want to see how they handle the race issue.
And Tim Russer.
Yeah.
They are going to be out in Nevada. You know, Mike Barnacle, in New Hampshire, we saw gender play a central role. Hillary Clinton seemed to get the sympathy vote on Tuesday, but with these attacks against Barack Obama and all the discussion about race, I guess that's really wiped out that advantage, hasn't it?
Yeah, it probably. We're getting back down in the gutter to talk about these things in terms that we ought not to be talking about, really.
And
the issue of racism.
Whose fault is that?
Well, I think in this one you have to hang it on the Clinton campaign. They raised it.
Questioning continues with Tim Russer.
In terms of accountability, Senator Obama, Senator Clinton on Sunday told me that the Obama campaign had been pushing this storyline. And true enough, your press secretary in South Carolina, 4 pages of alleged comments made by the Clinton people about the issue of race. In hindsight, do you regret pushing this story?
Well, not only in hindsight, but going forward. I think that, as Hillary said,
I've long known the Clintons to be very good and decent people, particularly on the issue of race. But for their surrogates to say the sorts of things that we've heard repeatedly from Billy Shaheen, from Mark Penn, from Bob Kerrey, and now yesterday from Bob Johnson, really is disappointing. And then when the Clintons themselves have said some things that were intentionally or not widely construed as being somewhat insensitive, and then to turn and accuse the Obama campaign of playing the race card, it all really strains credulity. And I really hope, as you said, if you...
In terms of accountability, Senator Obama, Senator Clinton on Sunday told me that the Obama campaign had been pushing this storyline. And true enough, your press secretary in South Carolina, 4 pages of alleged comments made by the Clinton people about the issue of race. In hindsight, do you regret pushing this story?
Well, not only in hindsight, but going forward. I think that, as Hillary said,
Does Obama demand an apology, or how does he deal with it?
She might want to put that voice, she might want to hit the mute button, because this is not helpful to her, it's not helpful to Obama, certainly, and it's not helpful to the country at large.
Authenticity is a huge, in business it's a huge deal. Who wants a fraud running their company? Some plastic face.
So the Clinton campaign needs to be careful because Barack Obama is a really difficult candidate against whom to play the race card. He's been really effective at not in any way denying his race, but also at not really playing it.
And
in a way that I
rising
think,
above the issue,
exactly.
in a way I think most Americans want to see. I'm saying she did go into dangerous territory.
Because of a sympathy vote, because people thought she was being unfairly beaten up. And I think we all agree here that had a huge role in it.
It had to.
And I think that I criticize Gail Collins enough. I think when she gets it right, let's say it. She got it right when she was talking about how women gave Hillary a one-time vote based on her being treated unfairly. The fact that her team is now going after Barack Obama on the issue of race, it erases that sympathy factor and now puts her on her heel. She's once again in a defensive position, and it's Barack Obama who's the victim.
Don't you think there should be an apology? Don't you think this should be dealt with? Because it seems like he's trying to mislead us into believing that he was talking about something else. Am I to believe that?
You know, I thought that Hillary Clinton was very sure-footed on Sunday, deflecting the race issue and saying, actually, I didn't raise it. It's the Obama campaign and maybe unfair journalists who are accusing me of raising it.
For them somehow to suggest that we're interjecting race as a consequence of a statement she made that we haven't commented on is pretty hard to figure out.
And that's fair.
He's been so careful not to inject race into this campaign.
In terms of accountability, Senator Obama, Senator Clinton on Sunday told me that the Obama campaign had been pushing this storyline. And true enough, your press secretary in South Carolina, 4 pages of alleged comments made by the Clinton people about the issue of race. In hindsight, do you regret pushing this story?
Well, not only in hindsight, but going forward. I think that, as Hillary said,
That was mud flying.